So for the next tip number 4, I'm going to talk about how Cloudinary can help users automatically deliver responsive images and videos for their websites. So websites today are accessed from different devices, which have different viewports, right? As such, they have different requirements in terms of how they need to be rendered, such as different crop settings, different width and height, which I talked about earlier, and so forth. Creating these variations of images and videos manually would take a lot of time. So to address that, users can instead generate these different variations using Cloudinary's responsive solutions. So using responsive solutions or responsive breakpoints would eliminate the need to manually create all of these different size images yourself. As I mentioned earlier, it'll also help you avoid generating and delivering too many image versions, or too few of them. And lastly, it'll help you display generate and display these images at the appropriate resolutions for a better visual experience. So that obviously translates to having a great experience on multiple devices for different users across the board. And as a tip, you can also choose to include a DPR transformations, what we support, which is mainly used for high-end Retina devices, such as your iPhones and iPads, where you can use the DPR transformation to enhance these images even further. So let's talk about how you can use the responsive solution from Cloudinary. Through Cloudinary, we have a reference website for breakpoints called responsive.breakpoints.com, where you can go in and upload any image or look at some sample images to see how that image can be broken down for different viewports and breakpoints. I'm going to quickly show that to you here. So this is the website here, and there are some sample images. I'm going to pick the dog image here. And for this dog image here, the resolution that I'm seeking is between 200, 2080. The side step, the incremental step for across the resolutions is somewhere here, 20 kilobyte. And the maximum images that I want generated is 20, right? Obviously, this is a lot. I can change this down to 7, for example, and hit regenerate. But let's say if I were to say 20, okay, so this already has an example here for 7 images. So in this case, the first image that the breakpoint that got generated is 200 with height of 133. It also tells you what the file size would look like. And if you kind of hover over the image, or if you click on the image here, this is what that image would look like at that breakpoint. Moving on, for width of 1056, this is what the image would look like, and so forth, right? And it also gives you a nice visual representation of the reduction for each of the different breakpoints here. So using this as a reference, you can define your own breakpoint settings for your images. Obviously, this is a reference site. You don't have to use it if you have different mechanisms to do it, but this goes to show you how it can be done. So with Cloudinary, you can either generate the breakpoints at the time of upload, or you can do so after the upload. Or alternatively, you can also do these breakpoints and create these breakpoints on demand on the fly, which I'm sure many of you know through UAuto-based transformations, right? But this here, we have an example that shows how to do the upload, generate the breakpoints at the time of upload. So this code snippet here is for Ruby. You could, as I mentioned earlier, we have all different SDKs that you can do this in. In this case, we're uploading dog.jpg, and we're saying generate responsive breakpoints, minimal width of 200, maximum of 1,000. The max number of images that should be generated are 20. And this is an important flag here. This is create derived. This instructs Cloudinary whether to create these derivatives at the time of upload, or just return these URLs for now. Meaning if these URLs are returned for now, if this is set to false right now, this derivative will not be created in Cloudinary, right? So it will wait until this URL is requested, and at that time, the image will be created. But if we choose to create these ahead of time, set that to true, and all of these different derivatives will be created and ready for use. So step number 1 was to define the breakpoint. Step number 2 is to now do the upload and specify the breakpoints and either create the derivatives or not. And step number 3 is to now finally render these images or videos. And there are 2 approaches to render these images or videos on the website. One is you can automate it using Cloudinary.js. I'm going to show you an example of this in a moment. The other approach is to use the browser native source sets capability. We have a screenshot here of what that looks like. And again, I'm going to show this, show an example of this as well. Oops, sorry about that. So now let's dive into the example. First, let me go into the code here. For the Cloudinary's, the automating responsiveness through Cloudinary. So Cloudinary provides a JavaScript that can be embedded onto any page, and using that JavaScript, it will automatically request the appropriate sized image based on the viewport that the image is being rendered in. So in this, if you see here, I have an image tag, and instead of the regular source attribute for image, I have a data source attribute where I specify my URL for the image. And instead of width here, the value for the width, I'm saying width can be auto. And I have a class that indicates to the JavaScript that this image tag should be monitored when the page loads. So using this, the JavaScript now understands that this image tag, if W auto exists in the URL of this image tag, it should replace it with the appropriate numeric value based on the viewport that this image is being requested in. So let's look at an example of this. I have Cloudinary responsive here. I'm just going to make this window just small here. Here, we can kind of go here. We bring up the developer's console here. Oh, this is, so clear this out. If I refresh this page, I see that the puppy that got returned has a width of 500. Now, even though I specified W auto, which you can see here on the side, the actual image that got returned and got rendered on the browser has W of auto. As you can see here, it still has the data source of W auto, but a source attribute has been added by the JavaScript, which has the actual numeric value for the width. And now moving on, let's expand this window a bit here to see how it works here. Now, as you can see here, the first size that came back was a width of 500. The next size, because the window is a tad bigger, the next size is 700. So in this case, the JavaScript automatically understands based on the viewport that it needs to request a higher width image. Now, let me keep increasing this and see what that looks like. So here for this viewport, the size that got requested, the width that got requested was 1100. So as you can see here, from a user standpoint, you really don't have to worry about adding all of these different images into Cloudinary, creating these thing responsive width and height manually. You can all leave it up to the JavaScript to do the job, and Cloudinary, whether those images are those derivatives exist or they don't exist, they can at real time be pulled onto the website based on the size of the container that they need to be rendered in. So this is the Cloudinary's JavaScript-based solution. The other solution that I wanted to show was the responsive source sets. Let me show you what that looks like. So most of you would be familiar with this. In this case, I'm using the native capability of the browser where I specify the max width the image can be on and defines different source sets for different viewport sizes here. So for 200 width, this is what's being requested. This would be requested from Cloudinary. For 961 width viewport, this would be requested and so forth. So let's see this in action. Now let me make this window small, open up the developer console here. And so initially the size that got requested was 961. Now if I slowly increase this, okay, here the size that got requested was 1400 with the 1400. So this is without the JavaScript. There's no JavaScript import here. Browser natively understands what the viewport is, and based on these configurations or definitions here, it will request the original, the appropriate image for that container. So again, just to kind of recap what I talked about, responsive solutions. Cloudinary offers a responsive solution to automatically create different breakpoints for your web pages. Using those breakpoints as a reference, you can upload these images and define those breakpoints. Cloudinary can generate those derivatives right then and there, or wait for you to access those URLs and then generate those derivatives. Once that setup is done, you can then choose to use the responsive solution by one of two approaches. One is using the Cloudinary JavaScript approach, where it'll monitor these image tags and appropriately request the correct width and height image. Or you can use a native browser source set capability where browser decides what size images to request based on your source set definition.